Jets. Tennessee takes on Seattle. CBS goes coast to coast Sunday.
In the nearly 50 years that have passed since the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, only one film has emerged that shows the shooting from start to finish. Anthony Mason has looked at it frame by frame. Fair warning, the Zapruder film has lost none of its power to shock.
With his Bell & Howell 8mm camera, Abraham Zapruder loved taking pictures of his family.
And the home movies that we have are, mostly just like everybody else's home movies. Except
one. The film Zapruder shot 50 years ago next month, on November 22nd, 1963, of President Kennedy in Dallas. Only 26 seconds long, just 486 frames, the Zapruder film of Kennedy's assassination has become the most famous home movie in American history.
How did he feel about that film?
I think he hated the film. I think he wished that he had never taken it. I think it was really devastating for him.
Alexandra Zapruder.
This is my grandfather. He was a great guy. He was funny. He was incredibly bright. He had come to this country at the age of 15 as an immigrant. He lived in absolute grinding poverty and anti-Semitism in Russia.
Zapruder settled in Dallas, where he started a clothing business.
This is your grandfather's company?
Yeah, this is Jennifer Jr.'s.
Their office was across the street from the Texas Book Depository in the Daltex building on Dealey Plaza.
Our family, they were real Kennedy people. My grandfather loved President Kennedy.
Zapruder first thought about filming the president's motorcade from his office window, but instead went down to the street and stood on this parapet. That's him in the hat. He took some test shots of friends, then started his camera.
This is WFAA-TV in Dallas, Texas. May I have your name, please, sir?
My name is Abraham Zapruder.
Mr. Zapruder?
Zapruder, yes, sir.
Zapruder. And would you...
He was just another eyewitness when a distracted anchor on WFAA interviewed him later that day, before the film had been developed.
And I saw his head practically open up, all blood and everything, and I kept on shooting. That's about all. I'm just sick again.
I think that pretty well expresses the entire feelings of the whole world.
There had been other cameras in Dealey Plaza.
But nobody got it from beginning to end.
Dick Stolley, in Dallas for Life magazine, learned from a stringer that a businessman had caught the assassination on film.
And I said, God almighty, what's his name? She said, Zapruder.
Stolley found it in the Dallas phone book, and the next morning, he and 2 Secret Service agents would be among the first to see the film.
We were in a small room, no sound, this crickety old 8mm projector, and he was beaming it up against the nearby whitewashed wall, so the frame was only about that big.
They saw the president waving as they drive along Elm Street.
The only time he loses it is when the motorcade goes behind that big highway sign.
That's when the first bullet hits the president. He has his hands under his throat when he emerges. When the film reached frame 313, the moment a bullet strikes the president's head, they all gasped.
It was, looking back, I think, the single most dramatic moment of my career.
What did the Secret Service men do at that point?
Astonishingly, they thanked Mr. Zapruder and left.
Lee Harvey Oswald had already been arrested. The film's importance was not fully apparent yet, but Zapruder wanted to be rid of it.
He said he'd had a nightmare. He was in Times Square, and he said there was a guy standing out in front of a theater saying, hey, folks, come on in and see the president killed on a big screen. And Zapruder said, I woke up and I was shuddering.
Life magazine would buy all rights to the film for $150,000. In its next issue, Life published selected frames. And in a new book, The Day Kennedy Died, it prints all 486. But life never allowed the film to be broadcast. In 1975, the magazine sold it back to the Zapruders for $1.
Did your grandfather keep taking home movies after that?
No.
After that tragedy, somehow I lost, I don't know what you call it, appetite or desire to take pictures.
Abraham Zapruder died of cancer in 1970. His camera, now on display at the museum in Washington, is the property of the National Archives, as is his film. The government bought it from the family in 1999 for $16 million. Half a century later, those 26 seconds of celluloid have not lost any of their power.
How many times have you watched that film?
Oh, God. 100. And I will tell you, every time it gets a frame